Everything in place, Pamela?
It's definitely, I'll be with you in a minute.
Okay. I'm continuing a tribute to Carlos Potato Valdez. I have enough arrogance to be able and willing to do that. But I'm feeling him this morning. I woke up and feeling, Potato. This is the key.
Oh, okay.
It's banging against the drum. Somebody said, hey, what is that I hear? Is somebody in the background? No, it's in the foreground. Armando Perata, Carlos Potato Valdez, y'all terrible. Y'all terrible. Left all this stuff down here on us, and we have to continue to try to follow what they did. For those who know something about Afro-Cuban music, you know what I'm talking about. Zola,
yes,
I gotta tell you,
Odie,
you're marvelous.
why, thank you.
Yeah, you're gonna throw me.
Yin and yang.
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead. Play your bongos.
Yes, indeed.
And we'll start off with that. What chapter are we in?
We're on chapter 9 of Shackles Across Time.
Shall I hold the book up again?
Yes, please. Very good.
Chapters Across Time.
Shackles Across Time by Odie Hawkins. There we go. Thank you very much. Please. Chapter 9.
Chapter 9.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Alfred.
Mm-hmm.
Put that down.
Mm-hmm.
You know you're not supposed to be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're doing.
Shout out to my
And
girlfriend.
stop laughing at me saying this to you. Because you know, I mean you well.
Yes, I have a girlfriend, Valentina Martinez. She's also watching you. And, okay, and a few others.
Put that down too.
All right. Please, chapter 9.
Benjamin Quarles, 16 years old, slumped in his specially designed chair. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Benjamin Quarles, 16 years old, slumped in his specially designed chair, the works of Langston Hughes open on the blanket beside him. He stared up at the sky through his thick eyeglasses. Not a cloud in the sky, calm, peaceful, warm. Augusta, Georgia in the summertime. How does that old song go? Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Hey, Ben, how you doing? His father called out to him from the bank of the river. Benjamin waved absently to acknowledge his father's interest. He smiled indulgent at his mother napping with her back leaning against a large tree. His mother and father loved to fish, and he, unlike his twin sisters, Taiwo and Kahindi, loved to accompany them. They only had time to fish on Sundays, and they did it whenever possible. You guys are really missing it, believe me. There's nothing in the world that can beat laying up on a riverbank with a fishing pole in your hands, just watching the world go by, doing nothing. Taiwo and Kahindi scoffed at his idea of a good time. Well, who wants to sit around doing nothing? If I want fish, it would be easy to go to the market and buy some. Yeah. Who wants to sit on a muddy riverbank trying to catch some ugly old fish and some nasty old worms? He was forced to laugh at them and their attitudes because even though they were 2 years his senior, they seemed so much less mature. Maybe it's because of our physical differences, he rationalized. The twins seemed to be consumed by their nail polish colors, lipsticks, perfumes, designer clothes, and shoes. Stuff. He was often privileged to hear his parents humorously frustrated discussions about the twins. Okay, Francine, they're your daughters. Tell me, why are they the way they are? Oh, no. No, you're not going to call me right now. I'm reading. So that's enough of you. He was often privileged to hear his parents humorously frustrated discussions about the twins. Okay, Francine, they're your daughters. Tell me, why are they the way they are? Oh, no. Oh, no, brother. Don't lay that on me. You played a role in this scene, too. Remember? All right, I'll accept that. But somebody has to explain to me how two ultra African-American nationalists could wind up with two daughters like Taiwo and Kahindi. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. You know what happened to those two lovely Ghanaian dresses I gave them? I'd be lying if I said I knew. They hung them up on the back of the closet, a place they called Siberia. And that's where they've been since they received them. They said the Kente weave was a little bit too intense for them. Thank God Ben isn't like them. Benjamin stared at the Moroccan sandals on his semi-flippered feet. They made more sense, even if they weren't fashion statements, than lace-up type shoes. All he had to do was slip them on and off. And the African pants with the drawstrings and the dashiki shirt were easy to pull on and off. And besides, African clothes were so colorful and hip. But no matter what I put on, he thought with sudden bitterness, no matter what I put on, I'm still going to be the water-headed boy with seal flippers for hands and feet. Thank God for Mom and Dad. And yes, Taiwo and Kahinde too, no matter how trendy and flaky they are. Just think, I'll be 17 years old on my next birthday. He stared at the quietly moving waters of the river. 17, almost a man. But what have I done other than go to school and get good grades? He was proud of the way his parents had handled his disabilities. Ben, there's no doubt about it, you may have some physical problems, but you don't have any mental problems. You may not be able to compete in the 100-yard dash, but you can definitely outthink most of the 100-yard dash people. They had high expectations, and they never allowed him to wallow in self-misery. Come on, Benjamin, pull yourself out of the doldrums, let's go fishing. Sometimes he would hang a pole out into the river, but most often he would bring the works of Langston Hughes to the riverbank and read. He loved the way Langston Hughes wrote about ordinary people. The only white writer he had read who wrote about his people in the same way was this Jewish writer, Isaac Bashevis Singer. The river lapped at the shore, speaking in soft, wavy tones. What should I do with my life in this body? He slipped his shoes off and stared at his feet. Damn, I was almost born a fish. Maybe that's why I like fishing so much. He smiled at his own tortured logic and leaned his head back to stare at the clean blue sky. So big, so big. God must be blue. Hi, how you? He turned to his left in response to the unfamiliar voice to see who had spoken to him. A young white girl, 14, 15 years old maybe, dressed in a poorly sewn gingham dress, wearing worn flip-flops, with an honestly pretty face, no makeup, what would be called poor white trash. She was from the bottoms, the projects a half a mile up the road where poor black and Anglo families lived. She stood, arm folded behind her back, staring at him. Were you going to stand there staring at me all day or what? He allowed his voice to carry just the right amount of macho, a trick he had learned from his father. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be staring, she answered and continued staring. He gave her another 10 seconds before breaking into her focus again. Well, you have an awful big head, she said in a low, even voice. You must have a heap of brains, huh?
Yep.
Think about that for a minute.
Makes logic.
Seems like it takes the simplest people to think of the simplest
Okay,
things.
works for me. Why not?
There was something about the way she said it that made both of them laugh. Mr. and Mrs. Quarles took note of the scene and the laughter. What do you think, Francine? Looks like some of that poor white trash from the bottoms. Yeah, that's pretty obvious, but what the hell are they laughing about? Who knows? Uh-oh, looks like I got a bite here. The parents returned their attention to the greedy fish in the river, leaving their son to deal with whatever was happening 75 yards up the bank. What's your name? Sally Ann Spencer. Most of my friends call me white folks. White folks? What kind of nickname is that? Well, I can't rightly say. Hit was my black friends, mostly who started calling me white folks. What's your name? My name is Benjamin Quarles. My friends call me Ben. Hi, Ben. Hello, white folks.
That's a friendship.
Looks like
Get
you know,
on.
Louis, looks like me and you become. Once again, a humorous contagion hit them, startling Jesse and Francine Quarles. Jesse frowned up at the couple. I don't know what's so damn funny, but I do know they're going to freak the fish away if they keep it up. Francine turned a curious stare at the sight of the white girl sitting on a blanket near her son, laughing. White folks? Huh? You want a sandwich? Ben took note of the eager expression that brightened her face. No. No, thank you. Well, suit yourself. I'm feeling kind of snackish. Would you pass me that basket, please? He took the large picnic basket and probed the inside. Well, let me see here. What we got? Ben glanced at the hungry look in her eyes and the way her dress draped itself on her thighs as she sat and hugged her knees. Girl got big legs. All right. We got chicken breasts, potato salad, chips, tuna salad sandwiches, German chocolate cake, sweet potato turnovers, and lemonade in that jug there beside you. I think I'm going to have me a chicken breast and some potato salad. He made a clumsy production of pulling the items from the basket and heaping them on a paper plate. Hours and hours of practice had taught him to do things slowly, methodically, to make maximum use of hands that were more like seal flippers than hands. He bit into the chicken breast and made an exaggerated moan of appreciation. This is some good tasting chicken here. You sure don't want a piece? She didn't answer, but dug down into the basket, a shy look casting her eyes down at daintily piled potato salad, chicken, potato chips, and a wedge of German chocolate cake onto a plate. White folks, you got a fair-sized appetite, huh? Pour us a couple of cups of that lemonade. Look at her. Girl as hungry as a big dog. He positioned his plate in his lap and took a cup of lemonade in both hands. She waited for him to finish drinking, took the cup from him, and sat it down near him and began to eat with ladylike greed. Don't you see I got fins for hands, fins for feet? Don't you see me? Thanks a heap for the chow, Ben. It's been mighty tasty. Yeah, Mom fries the hell out of some chicken. That's your mom and your daddy yonder? Yeah, that's them. They'd rather fish than do anything. They munched on the picnic food, enjoying each other's company. He felt she was someone he had known for a long time. She finished her chicken and cake in a few famished bites. Have some more if you like. Oh, no, thank you. I had a plenty. Much obliged. He watched her crush her paper plate with the chicken bones in half, tossed it into the trash can, wipe her hands on the hem of her dress. Got some napkins in there. It's all right. I'm done wiping my hands now. She took his plate and tossed it in the trash. Girl's kind of slim, but she got a nice body. You from around here? I live in the bottoms. She answered this question with a simple sentence that explained a lot of things. I'm poor, white, hungry, underprivileged, undereducated. The bottoms. Where you live? Well, I live up on Hillwood. That's nice. You come to the river a lot? Pretty much. It's peaceful here. I like that. This what you've been reading? The works of Langston, Hughes? You almost felt sorry for her. She could barely read. How old are you, white folks? 14, be 15 next year. You ever heard of Langston Hughes? She nodded no and started thumbing through the thick book. Reading ain't one of my strong points. You go to school? Not regular like. The heat of day was past, the soft southern shadows were beginning to lengthen. They were silent for a few moments, watching Benjamin's father and mother enjoy fishing together. What do you do when you're not coming down to the river? She looked into the distance, seeing something he couldn't see. I mostly take care of my brothers and sisters. I'm the oldest. How many brothers and sisters you got? Well, there's 4 of us, and Mr. Scarborough got 3. Mr. Scarborough, that's my stepdaddy. He had 3 when he came in to live with us. And you take care of all of them? Uh-huh. Except when I run away from them, come down to the river. And she had another laugh. Benjamin studied her face. Fragile looking, but strong. He could see it in the chin line and the determined look in her eyes. A white girl. He never thought about or cared about white girls. They were schoolmates, they were there, but they weren't part of his world. He thought a lot about black girls, and at night, when he played with himself, he thought about one of them becoming his wife. A white girl? White folks? Huh. Never thought about them. Well now, what do we have here? Benjamin looked up into the familiar gleam of humor in his father's eyes. Sally Ann Spencer stood up quickly, fidgeting with a straight thread on the arm of her dress. Mom, Dad, this is what? This is Sally Ann Spencer. They exchanged cordial handshakes with the shy young woman who seemed to be edging away as she stood there. Sally Ann, would you give her something to eat? Oh, no, thank you, ma'am. I already have. Well, I gotta go. Bye, Ben. See ya. Yeah, take it easy, white folks. They waved to each other as she walked in the direction she had come from. When she was beyond hearing distance, Ben's mother turned to him frowning. Ben, that wasn't a nice thing to say. She seems like a very nice young lady. Yeah, man, calling people names like that ain't like you. The 3 of them shared the laugh when he explained. White folks was her nickname. His mother shook her head in amazement. Young people these days have gotten way past my understanding. Why in the world would somebody want to nickname a white girl white folks?
Why not?
Maybe they're trying to distinguish between her and the black folks. Yeah, that's something to think about. Benjamin. They had a Mexican guy up at the Athens Park Mexican guy. They called nickname Burrito.
Oh no. Not yet.
Burrito. Benjamin pretended to admire the fish his parents had caught, but his mind was on the shy white girl who had shared an hour with him. Dad, Mom, when are we going to come back to fish again? I'm going on to chapter 10.
Oh, how sweet.
Because it's short.
All right.
And I feel I can handle it.
The only,
funny thing, I'm trying to make an effort to give the voices to the people in each one of the chapters, and sometimes it gets to be a little bit crazy, but
keep on.
I'm doing the best I can.
Keep on. Keep on. Go ahead and read.
Where are you?
I have to go get something.
Chester looked down on the neatly checkered pattern of houses and lawns surrounding O'Hare Field as the plane circled to land. Chicago, my hometown, Chicago. He felt at ease in Chicago. It never seemed to change very much. He could call it home in a way that he couldn't call a small town in Mississippi where he was born home, or Alicante, Spain, or a number of other places he had lived throughout the world. Chicago was where he first became aware of the blues, of the fact that sin and the good life could be parallel numbers. Chicago was every emotion he could or would ever have. He felt that. Chicago, in the passionate summertime, was where he had shot and killed one of the great loves of his life, the gorgeous creature that the hood had nicknamed Heatwave. Chicago, Statesville Penitentiary, Joliet, Illinois, is where he had spent 15 years of his life for a crime of passion. Please fasten your seatbelt, Mr. Simmons. We're coming in for the landing. Mr. Simmons, the celebrity, the author, the recognized one. Not Chester or Buddha, but Mr. Simmons. I left here as a nothing, and now I'm returning as Mr. Simmons. Ori was a hit. There were praises for the book from people who hadn't even read it. From Los Angeles, what was that gorgeous young sister's name, the one who spent the night with me, to Dallas, a wild time of New Orleans, complete with gumbo filet. Birmingham, no one can appreciate history more than we can. We are real South. A hot minute in Atlanta before the Quartet reunion in Chicago. He felt a little pushed but exhilarated. Yeah, it's all coming together now. He had communicated with the Quins in Chicago. Chester Simmons, it would be an honor to have you come to our reunion. The Johnsons in LA spoke to us about you last week. I'm trying to get a chance to read your book as soon as I can pry it out of my wife's hands. And Mr. Jesse and Mrs. Francine Quarles in Augusta, Georgia. We feel like we know you already. It'll be a pleasure to meet you. The Quartet reunion was firming into something that none of them had foreseen. Alan Rich was responsible for a share of it. Well, Chester, it was simply a matter of facing reality. It's either we make an effort to manipulate media attention, or it's going to manipulate us. I'm sorry to have to put it that way, but that's the way it is. There's no way you could possibly be involved in something like this without attracting a lot of attention. Chester was a bit reserved about the situation for a few minutes, but the families were not distressed unduly, and that was the important thing so far as he was concerned. No problem. It might act as a spur for a lot of other African Americans to check into themselves. The last time we had a big push in that direction was when Alex Haley came out with Roots. The plane was gliding in for a landing. He could feel that familiar rush through his system that didn't stop until the craft flowed to a walk. Fantastic. The modern thing. Here I can jump from Atlanta in the middle of a PR thing for a couple of days, then jump back down into it as though nothing had happened. Oh, just a mind if we go through this for a sec. I've kept stuff down to a bare minimum because I know you want to focus on the reunion and everything. So we only got 2 TV interviews. One this evening, the other one at 10 a.m. tomorrow. A couple of radio hits, and if I'm not mistaken, you'll be hounded by a little bit by the newspaper people. Not a lot of stuff. Chester smiled sarcastically in Alan Richards' direction. Gotta give it to you, big guy. You're always on the job. The reporters meeting him in the airport were surprised. They were polite but persistent. Mr. Simmons, can you tell us if the reunion of the Quartes descendants is a part of your publicity scheme to advertise? No, it's not. My attendance at this reunion is by invitation, personal and private. The reporters looked skeptical, made cynical notes. But you could say the timing is right, couldn't you? I didn't tell them when they should have their reunion. If you had to say something about the reunion, that statement would have to come from a family member. Can you give us some idea of the family's reaction to your book? Favorable. Mr. Simmons, can you give us a reaction to the statement made by Miss Sylvia Banks of Pasadena, California, that you're the father of her coming child? Chester knitted his brow with an honest frown. Sylvia Banks, oh yes, the gorgeous young sister in the hotel. What, I'll be damned. So she's going for a paternity suit, huh? This early in the game? It'll be interesting to see how she can prove that I got her pregnant while using a world-class condom. Gotta be more careful in the future. My reaction to the statement is no reaction. I have no idea who Sylvia Banks of Pasadena, California is. Alan Rich jumped into the breach. Ladies and gentlemen, please excuse us. Mr. Simmons is late for a television interview. Thank you for your interest. We'll be issuing more advice, more information on Mr. Simmons' activities this evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The now familiar limo. Alan Rich deserved a bonus. Chester made a mental note to mail a well done thank you note back to Alan Rich's firm after the tour was over. Chicago again. He stared out of the tinted windows at the grimy expressways. The summer green dress was on, but he could still see the damage winter had done. Oh, I couldn't live in a cold zone again. How's that? Oh, sorry, Alan, just mumbling to myself. They took a familiar route. The expressway that tunneled under the giant post office into the outer drive. A right turn south, heading for the Hyde Parker. Beautiful. If a stranger came to this place and was prevented from wandering inland for more than a few blocks, he'd think this was one of the most beautiful cities, one of the most wonderful cities in the whole world. Yeah. Just stay along the downtown lakefront shoreline and focus on the Art Institute, the grand museums, and the spectacular lakefront views. Don't make the mistake of wandering inland into neighborhoods where a shot of dope could buy a murder, or a face the wrong color could be smashed to pieces. Incredible place.
Got that right.
You got that right. The driver made a smooth turn off of the expressway into the University of Chicago dominated area called Hyde Park. Dear old Hyde Park, the 60s, the last groan of bohemianism, or had it been a moan. Alan, where you from? Let me see. I was born in New York, but my mom wanted me to know the old country, so she took me and my sister to Russia when I was like 5. We lived there till I was 12. After that, we moved to Paris for a few years, in London, Madrid, Rome, Amsterdam, and down into South Africa for a couple of years. South Africa? Yeah. You know how Jews are. Got relatives everywhere. Your mother still living? Nah, she died in 1995. What about your dad? Pop worked himself to death trying to make all the money Mom wanted or needed to spend for the rest of her life. Chester stared at the PR man without seeing a different person. You never mentioned any of this to me. You never asked. The Hyde Parker Hotel, 85 years old, classy. Chester strutted in, remembering when people of color were only allowed in the establishment to do menial labor. Ah, yes, Mr. Simmons. Welcome to the Hyde Parker. Suite 400 has been reserved for you. Also, sir, I have here a schedule of the activities that have been planned by the reunion committee. Chester and Allen exchanged coded eyes ago. Hey, looks like professionals at work here. Mr. Rich, you are in 312. We will have the bellhop bring your luggage up. We will do everything possible to help you enjoy your stay at the Hyde Parker. My name is Maurice.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Of course, Maurice.
Savoyon.
Of course.
That's his last name, Savoyon. But he never tells people his last name because they can't pronounce it correctly. Savoyon. The bellhops. Don't get me started. I'll tell you everything I know. The bellhops pushed a cart full of bags into an old-fashioned European lift, complete with stained glass. Alan whispered, "Wow, this place reminds me of something out of an old Agatha Christie novel." Third floor, sir. Chester, don't forget, 6 p.m. TV time. I'll come for you at 5, okay? It's 2 now. On the dot, pal, on the dot. Chester tipped the bellhop and collapsed on the chenille spread at 4-poster. Now then, let's see what we got here. The Quartet family reunion schedule. No need to pay any attention to July 4th. They've already done that. 12 noon, lunch in the Hyde Parker dining room. Vegetarian lunches available. Suggested topic open. 4 o'clock. Family business in the hospitality suite. Mr. Quinn remarks. 9 o'clock. This session will only be open to family members and specifically invited guests. Party/refreshments afterwards, July 6th. We will discuss some of the suggestions made earlier and try to determine the best ways and means to act on them. 12 noon, lunch catered, picnic on the beach. 4 p.m., 4 o'clock, family business in the hospitality suite. Mr. Chester L. Simmons, author of Odie, remarks. July 7th, open day. The schedule has been deliberately left open, loose, in a sense to prevent hardening of any creative arteries. We feel that the energy we put into the first meeting will determine the future direction of our family. Welcome to the first reunion of the Quartets. If there are any questions or problems that need to be addressed, please contact Ms. Erman Sims in room 110. But I'll be damned. Simple as baby shit. So long, no long, drawn out jive about this and that. Somebody was saying, hey, let's get together in a groovy setting and see what can come out of it. The phone ringing pulled him away from his admiration of the tersely worded reunion schedule. Mr. Simmons, this is Robert Quinn. We'd like to have you join us in the hospitality suite if it doesn't inconvenience you. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Fine, we're looking forward to meeting you. A quick shower and a change into something casual and elegant. Off to the hospitality suite, 5th floor penthouse. He was drawn to the open door by the sound of John Coltrane's A Love Supreme. A love supreme, a love supreme, a love supreme. Yeah, that'll work. 4 people rushed out to greet him as he entered the large but cozy suite. The space was filled with a colorful collection of African Americans. Hello, I'm Robert Quinn, and this is my wife Dinah. Glad you could make it. Chester was drawn to the warmth of the people. Chester, how are you? Good to see you here. Dr. Mary Quist Johnson, feeling good and looking good. Hi, Mary, good to see you again. And Frank, how's it going, brother? Just great, just great. This whole experience is, wow, I don't know how to describe it. Robert Quinn cut into Frank Johnson, ebullient overflow. Sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, may I please have your attention for a moment? Thank you. We are pleased to announce that Chester L. Simmons has joined us. We would like to welcome him properly. Would you please form a line to my right? Chester felt a slight tinge of discomfort about being singled out, but it soon slipped away as a double scotch was placed in his hand, and he realized the party atmosphere was not adversely affected by this introduction ceremony. We did this with everybody the first day, Robert Quinn whispered into his ear. Frank and Mary's sons, Kojo and Kwame, good to see you guys again. And the daughter he hadn't met when he had his dinner with them at their home in California. Chester, this is Tabula. Glad to meet you finally. Missed you the evening I had dinner at your home. She gave him a strange look. What a beautiful girl. She looked so pure, innocent. Well, am I going to be introduced to the great man, or are you going to just stand around talking about me behind my back? Well, Kofi and Kwame automatically moved to either side of their sister, prepared to cart her away if she lost complete control of herself. Just to defuse the situation. Aha! Someone who really wants to meet a black writer. Thank you, I'm Chester L. Simmons, and you're... He leaned in close to Bella Quinn's flaring nostrils and twitching eyes. She was angry about something. It was an anger without focus. He couldn't tell if his charming manner and pleasant smile was chilling her out. Me? Who am I? Don't you know? I'll tell you since you asked me. I'm Bella, and these are my 2 unholy terrors. My brother Kofi on this side and Kwame on this side. Just to carefully observe the actions of a very hip collection of people. They were obviously not going to allow one schizoid person's inappropriate behavior to disturb them. They had already met and defined the place where she was. Bella's hysterical laughter stopped abruptly and she became suddenly solemn. Just to flow with the tide, on with the next couple. Hello there, I'm Chester Simmons, how are you? I'm Jesse Quarles, and this is my wife Francine. We're from Augusta, Georgia. Pleased to meet you. Augusta's always been one of my favorite cities. And these are our twin daughters, Taiwo and Kahindi. And over there on the sofa is our son, Benjamin. Chester strolled toward the keen-eyed boy with the huge head and seal flippers for hands and feet. What a strange-looking creature. If it weren't for the look in his eyes, he would be a monster. Hello, Benjamin. Hi, Mr. Simmons. I read all of your books. Next to Langston Hughes, you're my favorite writer. Chester felt a sudden hot sting of tears well up in his eyes. He put him on the same shelf with Langston Hughes. I am blessed today. I'm truly honored to hear you say that. I really am. We'll be talking more, okay? Okay. The line that had formed to Robert Quinn's right had fragmented into splintered groups. The Quinns, Quarles, and Johnsons were the originals, or more specifically, Robert Quinn was an original quartet. Francine Quarles and Mary Quist were originals. The others were children of the originals, friends of the friends, involved folks. He made a quick scan of about 30 people in the room. They covered the color spectrum from light charcoal to pale ivory. They were quick-witted, fast-moving, and proud. He could see that at a glance. After his introduction, he was given the same freedom of movement that everyone else enjoyed, almost. Robert Quinn latched onto his elbow and steered him to a far corner. Well, Mr. Simmons, please call me Chester. Well, Chester, what do you think? Can I speak frankly? Please do, please, please. Man, you got a hell of a bunch of good people in this room, a hell of a bunch. The good vibe that they're throwing out make me feel blessed to be here. Robert Quinn literally beamed with good feelings to hear Chester's comments. He shook his head. Thank you for saying that. Thank you. I mean it. He pumped his hand again, energetically, warmly, and strolled away with his chest puffed out, leaving Chester to meander about the room, sipping a fresh double scotch. It was a beautiful group of compatible people. They sipped, they chattered about relevant stuff. They were there for a purpose. Mr. Simmons, I want to talk to you privately. Can we step into the hall? Chester looked down into the silky pools of Tabula's seductive eyes and almost followed her out of the room. Why can't we talk here, Tabula? Are you afraid of me or something? Why should I be afraid of you? He caught peripheral frowns on the faces of the Johnsons. I know. Do you know? Chester felt uncomfortable playing grown-up games with a teenage girl, but he didn't want to give her the satisfaction of holding the upper hand. Tabula, let's stop the cat and mouse shit. What's the problem? He felt drawn to her as she lowered her head and started to cry without a change of expression. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what the problem is. That's the problem. Do you understand? Do you understand? He wanted to take her in his arms and comfort her, but he knew it would be the right thing to do. She might misunderstand. Her parents might misunderstand, misinterpret. I think I do understand Tabula. Alan Rich's appearance in the room was almost disconcerting. Oh, Chester, sorry to rush you, but it's time for the show. I'll be with you in a sec, Alan. Let me say a few words to this guy over here. Tabula held his hand in a moist, clammy handshake as he pulled away to Robert Quinn. Bob, I have an appointment to keep. Think you'll make it back by 9? Possibly. What's up? It involves family business. He spoke mysteriously. I'll be back. Chester waved cordially to all the people he could remember being introduced to and eased out, a half-dozen things swirling around in his head. You know something, Alan? I'm glad I wrote my book before I met these people. Alan Rich punched the down button in the Agatha Christopher lift and gave Chester a puzzled look. And we're stopping it there.
Woo! All right. 9 and 10.
It's going on.
It is
We'll
so
be back
good.
to that's 9 and 10. We'll be back at 11.
All right. Well, thank you for reading 9 and 10 of Shackles Across Time. The book can be purchased on Amazon, Barnes and
Oh,
Noble.
let me hold
Author House.
let me hold
Yes.
the cover up.
Yes, again.
This is not the snake doctor, right?
No, this is Shackles Across Time. You might say the third of your Pan-African Occult series.
Gotcha.
Okay, and like I said, it can be purchased on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Author House, and your website is www.odiehawkins.com.
Gotcha.
You're also on the author's page on Amazon. One can Google Odie Hawkins and see the many adventures of Mr. Odie Hawkins. And enjoy some of his musical talents.
Ele mandaré para Utreza canta sentada Odilila canta ite Ona Daxo Bahia Nati yo ne ya Ela ila ila
Ole le
Ela ila ila
ole le
Ela ila ila
ole le
Ela ila ila
ole le ole
Olele de Gigi Oro Maranheiro, olele de Gigi Oro Maranheiro, samba no mar maranheiro, samba no mar maranheiro, samba no mar estrangeiro. Oh, sim, 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 oh, na, 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 oh, sim, sim, sim.
oh now now now
Oh, sim, sim, sim.
oh now now now. And that, thank you, Odie Hawkins.
Don't thank me, thank the Orisha.
Ashe.